Welcome to the viewing experience that you will never forget until later you do. My name is Tito. How's it going, everybody? A little bit of a weird setup here in terms of where the camera is and everything like that, but we want to make sure that we're here for the players first. So this is around the volume I'll be talking. I can turn up the mic itself. I just can't speak any higher than this. So if you guys can't really hear me or you can't hear the game or whatever, I really appreciate it. When I checked, it was okay on my end, but just let me know. So here we go. How much should I use this one? Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and switch over. We got Ian and Calvin going on against round one. This is a premier challenge, but we are doing best of 3 here, so it's pretty good right here. So we got some teams. I got the team sheets in front of me now. I'm gonna put those face down. And like I said, guys, at some point today, during top 8, either at the beginning of top 8 or it's like right before we go to break, I'll be giving away a sub to my channel for September, so go ahead and peep that. But that's enough of that right now. Like I said, guys, if you have some trouble hearing me, I can turn up the mic from my level, so just let me know. And we're going to get started here, ladies and gentlemen. Gaithersburg Premier Challenge, best of 3. This is round number 1. We got Ian and Calvin going on. Both pretty good friends of mine, so we'll see how it's going to go down. They actually got a pretty interesting core on both sides. We got a stack attack on the Amungus, a very tanky defensive core on the side of Ian, as well as the Smeagol and the Zuni. It's a very classic setup. I hate Smeagol so much. That's Picasso over there. Okay, so we got a couple of things that could potentially happen here. Really, this whole turn depends on what the Smeagol does and what set it's going to be running. If it has things like Fake Out, if it has... because obviously the goal is to get the Geomancy off, but that Sack Attacker is a really good check to that Xerneas because it's just, one Gyro Ball away from being KO'd, but the Incineroar is going to come out in that slot and put the Intimidate on, which is going to lower the attack of that Stack Attacker right there. We still got the Amungus here on deck, so here is going to go for the Fake Out onto the Sack Attacker, which is probably the safest choice right there, and the Spore is going to come through. That's kind of the trade that you make. So he's actually going to Spore the Smeargle here, so getting rid of a lot of that support, put that boy to sleep. And the Stack Attacker, okay, so we got an Evasiveness Rise and a Special Defense Drop. It feels good to get that evasive. In most case scenarios, you want to get the evasiveness, obviously. So now he got the Air Jordans on. He's ready to juke. We are ready to see. Oh, the game music. All right, bet. Thank you for telling me that. So I'll turn that down. Let me know right there. Let me know if you guys got that right there. So he's going to bring in his own Incineroar, is Ian. So we'll see, and the Fake Out going to come through as well into the Stack Attacker slot. So let's see what the Moody boost will be here. Special Defense is going to rise. The attack will fall. So nothing really of significance there, as we have 2 physical attackers on the side of Ian. So the set for Stack Attacker is usually, I'm going to turn up the mic a little bit. Is usually a Gyro Ball, maybe a Wide Guard, Trick Room, maybe a Protect, around kind of those are the 4 pretty common moves as well. But Gyro Ball is definitely the bread and butter of that Mon right there. But Yveltal is going to come in onto the Smeargle slot, not trying to put up with that. But the Roar going to come in onto the Stack Attacker as well, get that boy out of there. So here comes the Amungus slot, as well as the Roar from the Incineroar, going to switch him right back out. And going to bring in the Smeargle, actually. So here we go. Pretty interesting turn here. A lot of board positioning here. Just trying to... Not really any actual damage has been put on this game so far. Yeah, let me know, guys, about the volume. Again, it was okay from my end, but again, I can turn on the game a little bit. Okay, So he's going to bring in the Yveltal again, going straight for the Flare Blitz. The first real offensive maneuver of the game here is going to come through straight into the Amoonguss slot. Going to do a good chunk of damage. Very good chunk, around 66%, about 2/3. And the Flare Blitz is going to come through as well into that Yveltal slot. Going to do around a little less than half, 45%. And the Spore is going to come through. And the safety goggles on the Incineroar are going to stop him from being spored. So when you see the roar from the Incineroar, that immediately allows you to kind of narrow down the items that Incineroar could be holding. Could have been holding a Pinchberry very well. It could be holding a myriad of items. Incineroar being probably the best all-around Pokemon of the format right now. But electing to hold those safety goggles, which prevent it from taking weather damage, as well as allow it to avoid things like Spore, those powder-based moves. So that's actually a very good spot by Calvin. But then Cernius is going to come through, and the switch from Amoonguss straight into the Stack Attacker. Great board positioning coming in from Ian, and the knockoff going to come in as well, straight into that slot as well. What item was Stack Attacker holding? Is going to be holding a Chople Berry. Very interesting choice, but the knockoff going to come through as well into the Cernius slot, going to get rid of that Power Herb. So now the Geomancy are much more unreliable. It's going to take a really hard commitment on that Geomancy without the use of that Power Herb. So he's got the Smeargle in the back. It does Calvin, but Smeargle is still asleep. And the Moonblast just doesn't come through and start doing damage onto the Stack Attacker. We'll see. It will not be enough, unfortunately, but he will get the special attack drop here, and the knockoff going to come through onto the Stack Attacker, and it will be enough. Dark Aura going to allow it to do a little bit of extra damage just to make sure to ensure that KO, but the Flare Blitz is going to come through as well. Will it be enough? And it will. So they're going to be trading Pokemon here. Stack Attacker for the Yveltal, but to be honest, Calvin really likes that trade. That Stack Attacker was such a giant threat to that Xerneas. So now the Incineroar is going to come in, which allows Calvin to have that fake out pressure, but the Amoonguss is going to come in as well. With that Regenerator ability, going to be able to get back a large percentage of that health, but still within the Flare Blitz range. So we will see here, remember that his Incineroar is safety goggles on the side of Calvin, so he's not going to be able to hit that thing with a Spore or any powder-based moves. So the withdrawal here, and bringing in his own Xerneas is Ian. So the Fairy Aura going to come through on his side as well. The Protect from the Amoonguss, revealing that Protect. Moonblast going to come into the Xerneas slot, which was originally the Incineroar slot, would have done huge damage, and still only doing 50%. A large chunk to that Xerneas. Now the Incineroar on Calvin's side is in range, or is in danger, of a Moonblast. It's going to be really difficult for my man to be able to deal with that right now. He's going to withdraw his Xerneas here and bring out the Smeargle, that is already still asleep. And here comes the Rage Powder, going to be able to sacrifice any damage that would have gone onto that. Here comes the Geomancy. Going to get all of these beautiful buffs thanks to the Power Herb. Here we go. Xerneas going Super Saiyan right now. Very, very good move right here. It's going to get that +2 to special attack, +2 to special defense, and the +2 to speed as well. But the Roar going to come through straight into that Xerneas slot. Very good play by Calvin, understanding that that was the time to use that Geomancy, and having the Roar on Incineroar. Incineroar just always putting in work, man. You hate to see that happen, man. So now no Power Herb on either side. Board positioning still though. Oh, and here comes the fake out, the wake up on the Smeargle, and going to go through. Crit on the fake out, the most disrespectful thing that could ever happen of all time. Here comes the Flare Blitz onto that Amoonguss slot. Will it be enough? And it will not. And he's actually going to be able to pop that barrier. Munga's coming through, holding on to the brink of life right now. 113 HP all the way back up, and the Spore still possibly expecting to switch out regardless. There it is. The safety goggles coming in huge here. This Incineroar from Calvin putting in massive work, as is often known to do on virtually every team with the current format right now. So it's a very interesting board position. This has been a whole game about board positioning here and who's going to be able to really effectively. Both teams have essentially not used their Xerneas really. Is not being able to snowball. And here comes the Flare Blitz once again, and it will be able to pick up the KO. Not enough HP on that to do really anything, and that's the Incineroar's on its last legs here. But here comes the knockoff onto the Smeargle, doing over 50% and also knocking off that Focus Sash, which is essentially is a non-issue here. But the defense is going to rise, and the special attack will drop. The Smeargle has done more than its job here. But the Xerneas as well. So although Calvin doesn't have an immediate check to the Xerneas right now, he has a ways to do a very good amount of damage to it, but the Incineroar from Calvin can essentially just start clicking buttons now, start doing that big boy damage right now. So he's going to withdraw his Incineroar here and bring back in the Xerneas. Bambi coming through onto the board right now. And will Ian take this opportunity to become aggressive? And the Follow Me going to come through from Calvin, possibly trying to negate any damage coming from that, coming onto that Xerneas, excuse me. With the Moonblast going to start through. Ian understanding now is the time to start getting aggressive and starting to click those buttons. Moonblast coming through. And here comes the Flare Blitz. How much damage was this going to do? It's going to do a pretty good chunk, around 40%, so that's pretty good. 40, 30% around there, not 40%. And here comes the Incineroar. Now we have a little bit more fake out pressure. Now here's the thing. Who does he decide to fake out? Now, Incineroars more often than not do not run protect. Because it has such good coverage, just a utility. A lot of them are assault vest, so a lot of them tend not to run protect. But if he did run protect on Incineroar, now would be the time to do it, because you want to be able to not immediately die to a Moonblast. So the Xerneas is going to come through with the protect instead. And here comes a fake out here. Well, it has to go onto the. Ooh. And he went onto the. He actually went onto the Incineroar right there. And that was so good. That was basically a 50-50 right there, because whoever he faked out, and here comes the Speed Tie, and it will be able to pick up the KO right now. So it's all down to see how much damage this Intimidate did. We'll get back to that last turn in a second, which was a crucial turn. Let's see how much damage this does. Ooh, and it will not be enough. The Xerneas is not going to be able to, excuse me, the Incineroar will not be able to outspeed the Xerneas here. And the Xerneas coming through great, a whole game of completely consistent throughout the entire game. We're just trying to outposition. But let's get back to that last turn. You see, Ian decided to use Protect on the Xerneas, fearing the fake out, but what a great move by Calvin, doubling up on the Incineroar. The only issue with that is by not faking out the Xerneas, you lose the ability to, because Xerneas is probably in a more immediate threat than Incineroar in that position, in my opinion. So, but you also get the guaranteed KO on the Incineroar, because it's very unlikely the Incineroar has Protect, so it's a much more safer play. It's just one of those things where you kind of have to guess in a way. It was a really good game one. So we are here, Ian winning game number one. Let me put that in here. There we go. So game number 2 here. Let's see what adjustments. That game was completely based on board positioning. So the mons that we didn't see Lunala, we didn't see Ludicolo, unfortunately. Best mon in the whole game. And then we have on the side of Calvin, we didn't see Ferrothorn and we didn't see Tapu Fini either. Now, I really like Tapu Fini against Ian's team if he thinks he's not going to bring Ludicolo, because outside of Ludicolo, Fini has a lot of coverage for Incineroar, has coverage for Stakataka, can do a decent amount of damage to Lunala as well, especially depending on what type of Tapu Fini it is, whether it's Berry, Specs, Calm Mind, more of a support with Icy Wind. This hasn't really been a battle about speed control, it's been specifically all about board positioning. So I'm really interested to see what they decide to switch up, and Ian immediately making a switch up and bringing the Lunala this time around, and Incineroar and the Tapu Fini is going to come out for Calvin. So like I said, I really enjoy the Tapu Fini in this spot. Just because if you don't think he's going to bring Ludicolo, I really like the Tapu Fini. And also, as a quick reminder to everybody here in the chat who is watching, I will be giving away one for every sub. I will be giving away a sub at some point today during the stream, whether it be top 8 or right before. But also for every gifted sub, I will also be gifting a sub to someone in the chat, so be ready for that as well. But here we go, the Focus Blast from Lunala. Let's see how much damage this is going to do. It's going to do huge damage to Incineroar, and it will not be enough. Incineroar holding on to the brink, but the Calm Mind, a absolutely free Calm Mind coming in from Calvin as well. And the Xerneas is going to come in here. Sorry about that, guys. I had to handle a little bit of a quality control issue, but we're good here. The Xerneas coming back in. The Focus Blast going to come through. Is it hitting 2 Focus Blasts? You're cheating. You are cheating, sir. You hit 2 Focus Blasts in a row. Get out of here. The Moon Blast going to come through. Is probably going to go on the Stakataka slot. Let's see how much damage this does. +1 Calm Mind, around half HP, and with a critical hit. But here comes the Trick Room. And now that Stakataka against 2 Fairy types, about to Gyro Ball. Ian is free. He basically gets a guarantee KO on one of these Pokemon. But the question is, what does he do here? What is more of an immediate threat? But the Lunala is going to come in here. Let's see what he brings. He brings in the Amoonguss here, possibly going for a Protect on the. If this would make a lot of sense if he was going for Protect, afraid of something like a Muddy Water or a Moon Blast here. But the Incineroar is going to come in with an Intimidate as well. Okay, and the Stakataka just going for a straight Rock Slide, going to be able to pick up the KO on the Incineroar, hoping for a flinch on the Fini. That would be ideal to not straight up just die. The Stakataka is in an amazing position, but here comes the boost. He's going to get an attack boost, so essentially nullifying that Intimidate. The Moon Blast, let's see how much damage this Moon Blast is going to do. He is +1 from the Calm Mind. It will not be enough to pick up the KO, and is around around 20% HP. In that scenario, I mean, a Muddy Water would probably have to be the play here to get that ×2 weakness onto the Stakataka, but you risk a lot of things. You risk missing, you know, especially now with the Amoonguss, it has Rage Powder more than likely, or no, it definitely does have Rage Powder, so you might want to lean towards the spread here. Oh my gosh. Sorry guys, we had to deal with a little bit of an issue over here, but we are back here. And oh my gosh, this Yveltal staying asleep, and he actually gets the double protect. I mean, that's karma. And okay, here we go. Here we go. Oh, Dark Aura plus knockoff. Jeez, oh, that was so gross. That was so gross. Okay, so we actually can bring this back. My boy got the knockoff Dark Aura. Big boy damage onto that Amoonguss. But the Xerneas needs to be able to... It needs to knock out something right here, right now. Yveltal, and I mean, it's very obvious it's going to go for... it has to go for the Rage Powder, right? The Rage Powder's... You need the Incineroar to live, right? Like, you need the Incineroar to be able to pick up the KO on the Xerneas in this turn. The double protect, he was asleep for like 85 turns. So, let's see here. The Xerneas is going to go for... That was so gross. That is disrespectful. That might be the most disrespectful thing I have ever seen in my life.
So stupid.
I hate everything right now. I am so angry. Okay, that is so gross. Like so gross. I vomited in my mouth a little bit. Like that is so gross, dude. Oh no, he got the triple? Not the triple. Oh baby, a triple? Oh my lord. Okay, so the sucker punch gotta come through. Bah, big boy damage. He's gone. Calvin is such a luck box. Oh my gosh. How do I fill out IEC? How do I fill out a police report? How do I fill out a police report?
Alright, so Alberto won game 1. You got
How do I fill out a police report? Because that was highway robbery. How? This game should be over. This game should be over. How do I fill out? Someone please help me. Call 911. It is round 1.
I got you protect. I'm so mad.
Like, I'm so angry. I wasn't even playing, and I'm so happy I didn't play today.
I almost scored the evil plus line too.
I am so angry, bro. Can I get some F's in the chat, please? Can I get some F's in the chat, please? Like,
He's always allowing out.
can I get some F's in the chat? Like, I'm so disgusted. Play some respects for my boy Ian. Like, can I get some F's in the chat? Like, jeez.
That's just how it is.
This game is awful. I'd rather gamble.
Yeah.
I mean, you basically are. To be, if we're being really, really real, like, oh my lord. Can I get some F's in the chat? Thank you. Oh no. All right, here we go. Game 3. Yikes. That is a yikes. That boy got robbed. Alright, here we go. Game number 3. I didn't even update because I'm just so blown away. Like, this is game 3. Alright, so he's gonna lead. Dark Pokemon all around. Oh, I need some water. I'm about to vomit. Alright, but he will get the Intimidate off on both teams right here. Not going to really affect the other Pokemon that are not Incineroar that much here, but the Sucker Punch definitely is a problem for this Lunala. Even with Shadow Shield. Definitely you don't want to be taking that much damage. so I just realized Incineroar's belt like fire. I just realized that. I thought it was just like a, I don't know what it was. Like I didn't even notice. I'm looking at it. Is that like fire? Anyway. All right, so Incineroar for Smash. What we have here is again a whole match based around board positioning. So we'll see who's gonna be able to. The first turn is super important each and every game. Will they be able to? Who's going to be able to get that advantage first? Here comes the fake out on the Yveltal. Going to be able to get a crit. Again, crit on the fake out might be the most disrespectful thing to happen. Like, it's like I get it. Like I can't move, but you're going to crit me too? Like for no reason? Anyway. He get the fake out. Going to get a focus blast. Ian hasn't missed a single focus blast. I wish I was that good. I wish I was good enough to not miss any focus blast. But here we go. The return right there on the Lunala slot, possibly avoiding a sucker punch. Stack attack coming in. Xerneas going through with the Moon Blast. Onto the Incineroar slot, not going for a Geomancy, instead just going straight pressing buttons, but the knockoff going to come through as well onto that slot. Stack attack going to taking big damage here. Chobble Bear is going to go with a roar, going to come in, probably expecting the Geomancy. So good stuff for Calvin being able to go from the offensive in that turn specifically. Bring in the Incineroar, get the Intimidate off, which is a huge factor, get the fake out pressure, which is even more important in this particular matchup here. We're going to be able to get a free turn onto this Yveltal if he decides he wants to switch. I don't know how much damage he's going to be able to do to anything here. And here we go. Amoonguss is going to come through as well. And the fake out going to go on that stack attack slot. The knockoff going to come through onto that slot. The Dark Aura not going to be able to do enough damage here to, it's just chipping away on that stack attacker. The Rage Powder going to come through, going to be able to, focus all the attention on the Amoonguss. Knockoff going to come through, going to do big damage here. Wiki Bear going to go. Flare Blitz going to come in tow and going to be able to pick up the KO on to that stack attacker, but no, not enough. Now remember, the Incineroar does have those safety goggles going to be able to avoid that Rage Powder as well, which is so crucial. Here we go. As well. Going to protect on the Yveltal slot, but actually Calvin decided to bring, for the first time this matchup, we are seeing Ferrothorn, old reliable, the Rock. Going to be able to bring the Ferrothorn for the first time in this entire match. Let's see who's going to be able to really do anything about it. The really only threat here, besides, it's going to be able to do a lot here, especially once the Incineroar is gone. Incineroar already living around 60% HP here. Return onto the Yveltal here and bring in the Great Cat once again. That's the champ right there. Intimidate once again onto that. The opposing Ferrothorn will go for the protect. Calvin's going to go ahead and make sure that the Ferrothorn is going to live to see another day. But the safety goggles onto the Spore, as well as the knockoff going to come through. Going to knock off those safety goggles. That's actually very, very good here. So unfortunately, knockoff was definitely the safest play. Whatever item come through, whether it be the Power Herb on the Yveltal, whether it be whatever it is, very, very good here that safety goggles, and now he's going to affect no more safety goggle. Excuse me, no more rage powder. He can no longer ignore the rage powder. Going to get affected by spore. It's those safety goggles putting work the entire match so far. So unfortunately for Calvin, he's not going to be able to have access to those options. He's going to have to be able to play this straight up. Yveltal going to come into the Ferrothorn slot, possibly anticipating the Flare Blitz to come through. Incineroar instead will return here, bringing in the Lunala. So again, more board positioning here. Very switch heavy match right here. Here comes the fake out on the Amoonguss, anticipating possibly a Spore into that slot, because now the Incineroar is no longer has those safety goggles. No, he no longer has the spectacles. Now this is a very interesting turn for both players. You know, the Incineroar can definitely Flare Blitz the Amoonguss and just say goodbye. Yveltal, definitely with the Dark Aura Sucker Punch, going to be able to do huge damage to Lunala. So, or does he just want to double up on the Amoonguss to ensure that it dies? You know, there's a lot of things on Calvin. I don't think this is the turn to be switching and coming back progressive. This is the turn where you can freely press buttons here. So here we go. The Incineroar going to come in, do the -1 onto both. Let's see what the Amoonguss decides to do here. The Yveltal decides to protect. And what? And the Spore. Oh, ooh, great protect by Calvin right there. Anticipating the Spore, going to get the pickup on the Amoonguss. Good stuff. Something was going to sleep. It was all a matter of what, and he decided that, you know, Yveltal would definitely be the priority. Would definitely be the priority to deal with the Lunala. The Lunala later on in the late game will be the priority here. So beautiful protect on Calvin right there. This is incredible matchup here. Everybody making, both players have, the entire match have made some sick reads, but this is definitely not out of the realm of Ian to bring this back. Calvin coming back from a losing game 1, having to rely on a triple protect game 2, is in a dominating position right now in terms of board control. And with that Amoonguss gone, without that ability to kind of, you know, without having no longer to deal with Rage Powder and Spore, he can kind of, you know, do some stuff here. Here we go, Focus Blast. Ian has, I wish I was as good as Ian. He has yet to miss a Focus Blast. Like, I wish I was that good. Here we go. Ooh. That was so sick. The Choice Specs off the Lunala. He was Choice Specs too. I wish I was that good to not miss my Focus Blast. That was so good. Here we go. Sack Attacker going to come through. 21% only on this Sack Attacker. The Yveltal is going to use the knockoff here with plus the Dark Aura, going to be able to pick up the KO on that Stack Attacker. So we have a lot of Pokemon on the side of Ian on their last legs here. And the knockoff on the Incineroar here from Calvin. Safety Goggles are going to go down. Ian is going to respond with his own knockoff, going to pick up the KO on Yveltal. So now we have a very close games. Excuse me, Incineroar and Lunala on the side of Ian. Xerneas, Incineroar as well. The Lunala is going to go through, but now here's the thing. Lunala doesn't have to immediately deal with that Sucker Punch either, so he's going to be able to not have to worry about that priority. Very close game. This turn is so crucial. The Moonblast from the Xerneas is going to come through. Will it target the right thing? It will target the Incineroar, and that will pick up the KO as well. Oh. And the Focus Blast. Oh. The last one. The last one. He hit every single one, but the last one. But in the end, as they say, it didn't even matter. The Calvin is going to come through with the victory.